Hello and welcome everyone to Nurses Move channel. This is me today interviewing Dina and not the other way around like we did in the past. My name is Lorenzo and today we're gonna talk about Dina and about her story, her life, why she does what she does. Welcome everyone.
Hi Lorenzo, thank
So
you today.
no worries, no worries. This is a pleasure, and I have to say that I'm really happy that I'm doing this because we have crossed many paths in the past together, and it's an honor for me to do this. So let's get right into it. And I think the first question is basically just tell me about you, your story, where you come from, and how you end up being a nurse.
Hi, thank you, Lorenzo, for the question. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening to me today to my interview. I am Dina. I'm 44. I'm mom of three. I'm a nurse since 20 years now. I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, I didn't want to be a nurse. Actually, I became a nurse because of series of events. So at the beginning, when I was younger, I wanted to do scientific things. I always wanted to help people. So this is always for me something natural. But because I came from a family from a little village, a family where they didn't really like nurse a profession, I didn't really understood the importance of this profession. So I have different ambition. Actually, I was playing piccolo flute. So at the beginning, I wanted to play in an orchestra, but then family didn't really want because that was not a profession for them. So I tried to understand what was the real path for me. And because I love science, because I was helping all the time people, I was also volunteering in the Italian Red Cross. So at some point,
Okay.
I decided with my mom that the best profession for me was medicine, actually, become a doctor. And we
Okay.
decided actually I could study in Bologna, so far away from my family, to have this experience of living in another place, study far from my family. So we decided this was a good compromise for me. I say, okay, this actually is something that I would like to do. Unfortunately, in 1997, my grandfather and my mom, they both died in 6 months each other. So this really traumatized my life so
Of
much.
course.
About my grandfather death, is actually died in my arms. I was 17 at the time, and I have this important relationship with my grandfather. So this was very important, life changing, especially for the age. So in that moment, I really realized that what I wanted to do is actually save people and deliver my care for the sick. But then my mother gets unwell very quickly,
Okay.
very sooner after my grandfather died. So this experience implemented my desire to help other people, especially when I was a doctor helping my mother and the other health professional. We are in Italy back in
Okay.
97 years. And the role of nurses, still in Italy like this, but especially 20 years ago, was not really recognized. So,
Yeah.
what I just wanted to understand was the doctor role. And because I really planned with my mom that probably my career was to become a doctor,
Yeah.
I really was focusing on watching them more than nurses or other. Then my mother died, and my father get a very important depression, of course.
Of course.
And also, we try to save my mom in different ways. So we also end up and spend a lot of money in a private hospital. So, well, and the end, my mom died, and my
Yeah.
sister was 12. I was 18. I nearly finished my secondary school. And when was the time for me to go to the university? My dad just say, I don't have money for you to go to the university, so you have just to find a job and start to provide for yourself. And this was the next trauma because I really lost my grandfather, I lost my mom, and then I realized that I couldn't do what I wanted to do in my life. I had to swallow and accept this decision because didn't have a job. I have done secondary school was like grammar school, so classic study, nothing that could actually prepare me for the job. So I was not able to do anything but just play piccolo. But I didn't have actually the connection that point to go and play in an orchestra. My grandma came to me. She just lost my grandfather and my mom, and she tried to convince me that the things was that she came to me and she said, "Okay, I'm old. I am suffering so much because of your grandfather, your mom. I don't know how long I can live. If you want, I can help you with university. I can pay your nursing school because it's shorter than medical school. If you are happy, maybe once you finish, you can work by yourself. You can actually pay for yourself for a medical school." And we both cried that day. We hugged each other, and I accepted this offer that for me was amazing actually. Ended up in studying nursing, and that was the moment I realized I want to be a nurse because I start to okay, you start back 20 years ago, what we started biologic, science, all the things related to nursing, and we start to study the theory on nursing. So we start with Florence Nightingale. And I've been so inspired by these women and the other as well that I actually start to love nursing, enjoy nursing. And so I graduated. I started to be a nurse, working in a hospital. I continue to be a nurse, specialized in emergency, volunteering the Italian Red Cross. My professional evolved. I cover different roles. I've been a tutor in the place where I worked. I teach to volunteers in the Red Cross, and I also be on the territory. I work in the ambulance. I work in cardiothoracic ICU. I did emergency on the territory, and I also became a manager. And at the end, after 12 years of experience, I was managing ambulance in north ovest of Rome. So that was a very important, challenging experience. But yes, I'm proud to have done and organize different things because I really realized that what I really want to do was to be a nurse. And also because in Italy we have this conception that nurse is not really important. I always fight for nurses to be recognized, so I always be proud of myself, of my role, and I always talking with people show the importance of the role of the nurse. And still, even with my family, where I come from, my family, they maybe now start to accept the importance of nurses because they saw me doing different things and they recognize now the capability of nurses. Because again, I come from a family that don't really recognize nurses as an important professional. Like, so actually, what is happened is they left me to a profession that, for their mentality, didn't represent so much because at that point I was an orphanage, young woman. So for society, I was not very lucky person or important person. So they sent me to a profession that was not that important. And because of that, I wanted nurses become important.
Thank you for sharing. For what I understand, it was not an easy start at all. And but for what I get is you grew, you fell in love with the profession more and more, and you wanted to change something from the inside out, like from what the people thought about nursing and how you could then change it, and how you could show it to the society how much value they have, which is great, and which it leads me to, then I think people understand a bit more about your past and understand, leads me to the second question, which is how did you went from nursing to then become an international career coach. I guess that's also a step further, isn't it?
Yes, actually, it's very linked to that, of course. But this one, again, starts for a series of events again. So in 2014, actually in 2013, I have to leave an hospital, public hospital, because I have family issue. And that time we moved from Rome to Como, North Italy, because with my husband we wanted to experience different place. We actually wanted to move in Europe for a personal experience to grow as a person, a profession. But our family didn't really accept that, so we decided to okay. We want to do our experience. We cannot go outside Italy. We'll still go in somewhere. So we moved from Rome to North Italy. And so we've been there for a couple of years, but we have a lot of problem in our family. People get sick, we lost people. And so we have forced to come back to Rome. And to do so, I have to leave my full-time job as a nurse in A&E there in Como. And I have, at that point, there were not much work for nurses in Rome. So I have to invent myself. So I have to work with some cooperative agency. Was not really a secure job. My husband too, he had to leave his job as an architect in North Italy. He had to move to Rome. There were no much job offer. Also, I don't want to go very much in detail, but we have scandal in Rome that time where mafia infiltrated the government, also health service a lot, but also other kind of job around in the capital and around the area where we actually lived, where we come from. So we decided we have to move abroad because at some point we have people sick in our family that they died, and at this time we have to do something because we already have two kids. So we decide, okay, we have to find a place that accept us as professional, where we can grow as a professional and where we can give to our kids what they really need for their future.
Sorry, how old were the kids?
When we started looking around was 2014, so 1.5 and just few months. The second was few months, but we didn't move straight away. We actually did our research properly. So at the beginning we want to move in Australia. We were very interested in Australia, but we soon realized that for us, a professional and with a kid, in order to move to Australia, we have to pass the license exam, both of us, to be able to work there. And also because we were a family of four, we have to pay so much compared with what we have aside, and also the implication. We were not really ready for move to Australia. So we started to look around in Europe, and actually I had so many job offer from Europe. So we studied so much, understanding which was the country that could offer the most. And we have offer from Germany. I personally have offer from Germany, for Ireland, from Belgium, and from UK. And we decided UK was best place for us. So in January 2015, I created this Facebook group for Italian nurses that wanted to move abroad. So I created this big title because I wanted to show the disappointment that has as a nurse from Italy we had at the time, because we have diminishment, we have society that didn't recognize us, the salary drop at some point, no proper recognition even with master degree and other things. I created this Facebook group where we show our disappointment as a professional that want to move abroad. I call this group Italian Nurses Who Want to Move Abroad. I created this group actually first for me, for myself, to reach information from, I thought that there were some nurses around the world that could share the information with me. But actually, I couldn't find that much people abroad because at that time there were not so many Italian nurses abroad. The migration of Italian nurses started really just 1 year after I moved. I created this group, and a lot of people joined my group because there were a lot of Italian nurses who want to move abroad like me. And they start to ask questions, but I didn't have those questions. I had to find the answer. So while I was studying the global nurses market for myself, at some point I have this push from other people to learn even more because I have all these questions from them that I have to answer to. I already have my LinkedIn profile. I start to use quite often, but I start using asking question about nursing other country, posting information. My LinkedIn profile grow a lot and my Facebook group grow a lot. So at some point I moved abroad in UK. We decided UK was our new place, our new family, our new country. So I created a group in January. I started to work in Facebook group and the LinkedIn in January. In August 2015, I moved in UK. I moved by myself. I left my family in Italy for a few months. I rent a house, I build up a home for my family, and I share all the things on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and people cheese me up. The group and the account grow even further. Back in 2015, I also share information. I help the nurses every time they text me to have question. I always answer to question, linked people to job and things. So I always help people for free, nurses for free. And if at the beginning were all only Italian nurses, they have my help, and I give help too. At some point, even international nurses start to ask me questions, give information. Then I get pregnant and I have more time because I was at home. So I was able to give even further information. I was able to put even more posts on LinkedIn or on
Yeah,
Facebook.
to spend more
So,
time. Yeah.
so at some point, someone from LinkedIn started to ask me if I could coach them to
Okay.
help me moving abroad. And at first, I was a little bit shocked because I thought, okay, but I'm not professional. I cannot coach you. I don't know. But you have, I the answer back was, but you have so many information. You know what to do. Why you don't want to share? If they say, okay, just give me a second because I don't know what to do. How to coach people. So I start to study coaching, basically coaching technique, and fell in love with transformational coaching. And so I started to study then career coaching, a little bit of notion here, there, continue to study the global nurses market in a more professional way. In 2020 also, I decided to, because of pandemic, because I have the little one, I was breastfeeding, I have the two kids homeschooling, I have to come back work from maternity leave in ICU, so it was very dramatic,
Harsh. Yeah. Yeah.
very hard work
Yeah.
during COVID pandemic. When I came back home, I was devastating. I needed something to distress that helped me
Yeah.
to distress. And
Yeah.
because people started to ask me, "Do you have a video that explain these things?" And because also I have always the same question over and over and again, I just decide, okay, let me create video where I explain things. So instead of text, because at that point the people
Yeah.
were so many, instead of answer text them back, I can actually send them a video. So in 2020, in 2019, I start to answer in a proper way to people like coaching session, but was like a one-on-one, give information, help them to understand what they wanted for their career. I was not really doing coaching session. Okay, it was like a
Okay.
every things. Okay, I share with you my experience. Maybe I can help you. Okay, not really
Okay.
coaching yet. This is 2019. 2020, I start to do video. So I created a YouTube channel, Nurses Move, where at the beginning I start with Italian video, but then far from the beginning I start to do a video in
In
English, which
English.
was actually still very hard because English is not my first language. I still need to give more focus and concentration. Still have trouble in speaking sometimes, and so it was hard. But I decided to do again because I wanted to share more information possible, which much people I could, but also because this helped me to decompress from my work. homeschooling, all the things. Um, and then, and in 2021, actually invest on myself, and I bought a course that helped me to create an online program and
Okay.
become a coach. So I spent a lot of money because I thought that the people really wanted my help. I thought that I have to be professional. I have to be knowledgeable, and if I couldn't really help people if I was not able to do it properly. So I spent that year something like 7,000 US dollar to improve myself, to study, to understand the technique, how to create an online program, everything. And so in January 2022, I launched my online program, Successful Expat Nurse Accelerator, which I improving these 2 years. And now I am at the third edition. I've got student clients. They are very happy and really to move in a safe and strategic way. So they are really can be successful abroad.
That's amazing. So I just want to stop there for a second because there are a few things that I want to say. First of all, when you decided to move abroad, and it was, I hope this serves as an inspiration for many people because you were leaving your country, you were upset with how the things were going, and instead of doing what most people do, which is complaining about it and do nothing, you decided, okay, I'm not only gonna move abroad, I'm going to create a group and I'm gonna try and make this thing, which of course it was helping you, but you never said no to helping other people.
Exactly.
That gives a lot of value. Secondly, you have moved abroad on your own with two kids, very small, and it was, I can't imagine how hard that was to just go somewhere else and to prepare a home. As you said, it was not only just finding a place, no, you have to find a home for your family. So I'm sure it was super hard, and I'm sure it was super difficult, and I hope this serves as an inspiration that sometimes things you have to work for it, and you have to work for it hard to then succeed. And thirdly, what I get from your story is that the growth into a coach and becoming an international career coach was an organic growth, because that's what you were showing, that's what you were finding, and what people were asking for, isn't it?
They ask him for, yes. I didn't decide at first. It's just coming because people asked me to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And then what's give this what you were doing, what now you are coaching people to do. So you were working on what people wants to do. That's amazing. So when it comes to what is it that you said you launched your program, and you have coached quite a few people in the last 3 years, isn't it? From since 2021, you have coached quite a few people. So, what is it that you do as an international career coach to help these people, when nurses that they want to move abroad? What is your doing in this case?
At the beginning, I start with this YouTube channel, and I think there was just me and maybe another nurse from Instagram, and that joined YouTube just a few months after me. So I didn't want to be a YouTuber. Still, actually, my goal is not become a YouTuber. I'm an international coach that share my knowledge on YouTube to share my my work. Is really niching down. In fact, my YouTube channel doesn't grow that much. If I wanted to my YouTube to grow that much, I know which kind of content I have to share, but it's not my goal, it's not my priority. I really want to niche down in important things that are related to career progression in nursing abroad. After that I started on YouTube, a lot of people started to do this topic, and there are people that actually have 200,000 follow, which I'm grateful for them because they actually open up a niche on YouTube, a market, if we can say that. But this still not my goal. And what I really do On YouTube, we're sharing specific content to understand properly what is the best place to people to move and how to strategically move abroad to have a career life of success. Because people move abroad for a salary, people move abroad for an idea, and this is the worst thing that someone can do, because we move abroad for a new life. People have to understand that when we move abroad for a life. So choosing a place or a job just because of the salary or just because somebody have offer you a job is not really strategic, because you're going to pay the consequence after. So what I actually do, I teach people on how to find the best place for them, place in terms of country itself or area, geographical area, but also the hospital organization where to work, so they can have a successful integration in the new community and in a new workplace, but also a successful career after. So I'm very specific on success abroad. And in my program, I define what is success. And success is not necessarily achieve a certain level in your profession, but successful is a contentment where you are in your life and your career. So it doesn't mean that you have to be a manager necessarily, or you have to cover such a role to be a successful person. Successful mean that you successful expert nurse mean that you move abroad in a place that you recognize as your home, your new home, your new country, and that you are happy where you work. You meet amazing colleagues. You go to work happy. You come back home happy. And this has happened. What actually was happened to me? I was able to recognize what was the place that I was happy in, and so it's what I teach. And with my program, I have different techniques to recognize the country, the area, the workplace, how to manage colleagues, how to be able to integrate in the group dynamics, how to be able to create a network in the hospital that is able to leverage your skill and that able to help you with your career if you want to have a career. Or we also work on group dynamic to understand how to create a side hustle in terms of nursing service outside the hospital. So you can grow actually not necessarily in your career inside of the hospital, but you are able to grow your income as a nurse outside the hospital. And I do this within my program with different strategy. And also I teach how to move abroad in different paths, so not necessarily being registered as a nurse, because yes, in order to work as a nurse abroad you have to take your lessons, but you can move in another country with a job in different way as a nurse. So I create this nurses move system that help you understand which is the most suitable way to you to move abroad. Yeah, depending of your urgency of moving abroad, but still you able to identify which is the best place for you to put your faith on at start and then grow as a nurse and as a person.
So what I get is that many people don't do, for example, the job of researching that you have done when you were moving abroad,
Yeah.
and they don't think about what's the best way to approach it and what's the best way for me to have a career, how
Yeah.
to be successful, right? That's what you help them through. Because I personally did my, I moved from Italy as well. I moved from Italy as a nurse to work in the UK. And to me, to be honest, it was only about the job opportunity and the salary. And the first opportunity that I got it. And then, of course, later on, you pay the consequences and you realize that you probably could have done things a bit better. Yeah, that's a lot of value in what you do in that sense. And tell me some stories that you were proud, that you some nurses that you have helped and that are now successfully stable in a new country. Because I'm interested. I think that could be something that people like to listen.
I have a nurse, for example, Jasmine. She was a nurse in Ghana,
Hmm.
and she's contacted me on LinkedIn when she was in Italy doing a career, and I helped her to move abroad, to move in UK, by give her some strategies, because of course she had to pass the exam, and she has to find an agency, but she has very a lot of offer that really didn't match with what she wanted to do. So at that point, I was doing one-on-one, really sharing my knowledge, really ask us for pay. So actually, I have joins me for free. But I'm happy to share this story because she was desperate. It was during pandemic too. So, and I want to say something. I'm not against agency because personally, I moved in UK from Italy with an agency. But what I always say is agency work for their client, which is the hospital organization. They pay for a certain number of nurses. Okay. So nurses that move with the agency, they're not the client. They are the goodie of exchange from agency to the hospital, or from country to country, if we want to say there. I'm not against the agency. What I try to let nursing understand is that nurses are their professional. They have to choose for their future, and they actually can use agency, but in a proper way, in a strategic way. They nurses should find the best agency for themselves that serve them in the best way. What I've done actually, I choose the agency that brought me in the place that I wanted to be, not the way around. And so with Jasmine, we did the same things. I gave her so many advice, and she was able actually to relocate. Yes, in UK in a hospital that could offer her pretty much good career. And she happy. She relocated. She started actually to share information on Instagram about how to move abroad. I think she does mostly for African nurses because she's come from Ghana, and which I'm very proud of because it's something like past knowledge. But yes, now she's thinking to move it to America. So she's already been 6, and I'm happy about that. A client from my online program, for example, Maylan, she's a Malaysian nurse. Actually, she all the story are in my website. If you want, go and have a look. I've got reference to. She's a nurse from Malaysia. She started my online program when she was in Saudi Arabia already. She was not really happy about her situation in Saudi Arabia. She wanted actually to move to UK. So we start to find the perfect place, blah 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 blah. And she actually was completing the registration. But because of family things, she decided actually to move to Singapore. And now she's already have a job in Singapore, and she's actually this day she's moving to Singapore from Malaysia again because she's already left Saudi Arabia. She's come back in Malaysia to have family. I'm not sharing personal information here. What I'm sharing is that we have a plan. We discuss about goals, aspiration, everything. But of course, we adapt our plan on what happened in life. So now she changed idea. She identified Singapore as a best place because of her family needs, and she's very happy about it. But again, she's find a good place for her in Singapore. She didn't just grab the first job offer. She actually decided where to go, and she is moving with an agency to Singapore actually.
So everything you do basically goes around the individual and their needs, and there's no a set templates that you apply, but it's all personalized and tailored to the needs of that person in that particular moment of their life and so on, which is not which is impossible. Agency can do that type of job. It's just simply
So
impossible.
let's say that through the years that I'm in the international nurses market, I understand things that you cannot find on the internet because you really have to put your attention on so many things that there's not actually a place where tell you what's going on. If something actually is my mind, but I am just myself with your help. There's so many things that must be done that will be there soon. But yes, you really need to follow so many things to understand what's going on the global nurses market. So through the years, I understand so many things that actually because of my research, that I was able to create my nurses move system, which is a system of step that can be, is a framework that could be useful for every nurses, but it become personalized. Is it personalizable? Yeah. So each nurses actually, thanks to the nurses moves system, is able to create, with my help of course, because I remain with my guidance, my program. Each nurse can actually personalize based on their needs, based on their urgency of moving abroad, based on their aspiration of their life and career abroad. So it's really tailored for each person.
So maybe you can give us, so maybe imagine that I am a nurse and I want to move abroad. So what could be the main challenges that I could encounter when I want to move abroad, and what are, maybe based on your nurses move system that you have just talked about, what are the ways that could help me to actually move abroad successfully?
So nurses think, people think that the biggest challenge for them is pass the exam for license or find a job abroad, which really is not the main challenge. They think they're moving to be able to moving abroad, they need a license. Okay, so first say that no, that's not actually the biggest problem. Yes, there could be a problem if you don't have time to study, or if you have a family you're busy, or if it's hard for you to pass a language test. Okay, could be a problem. Yes, but that are not the big problem, because if you don't choose the right place, in the right job position, and the right workplace, you end up in misery. Literally, you end up to be unsatisfied, depressed, and you finally end up in what's the psychology called migration failure. Okay, so you depressed, you can either come back home defeat, or you can either really get to a very important depression, and you ruin your life abroad, so because you made the wrong choice. So the big challenge is not really the license or the language exam. The real challenges are find the best place for you in terms of country and in terms of job opportunities. You really need to focus on your need in order to to satisfy your needs. Yeah. So in order to satisfy your need, you not just need to pass an exam or find a job with an agency. In order to satisfy your need, first of all, you need to recognize your need as a person and as a professional. This is actually one of the first step of my nurses move system. You really have a moment of introspection. You have a moment where you sit down, you understand what you've done till now in your life, what you are happy for, what you are not happy, you want to improve. So you set goals for the next year and 3 years. Okay. So you understand what you want to achieve in terms of personal growth, professional growth, financial growth, and social growth too. So you understand what you want of your life in the next year, what you want in your from your life from the next 3 years. So if you're part of my online program, we sit down together in a one-on-one coaching session. Actually, there are group coaching sessions, but I give so much space and time. They feel they are in a one-on-one coaching session. So we sit down, we talk about these things and feelings, objective, needs, goals, and we work out on them. And following the nurses move system, we actually do first step research to understand which is the best place for them, which is the scope of practice they want to work in, what they want to do with their nursing career. And then after we research and we understand what is the best country for them, we plan the move. And so we plan not just how to find a job, but we plan how to manage things at home, how to make the best of the move, how to fundraise the move. So many things. And then we actually move. And move means actually settle all the things we left us home and prepare for the new venture. So we found also the place where to live. We found the agency if we want to move with the agency. Basically, we found the job offer and a place to stay. But yes, we can actually, if there are agencies that can serve us in our goal, we can actually dialogue with this agency. And then after move, we settle. So we understand group dynamics in the workplace, we understand group dynamic in the society, and we plan how to actually settle properly in the community, settle in the workplace, how to win our colleagues, how to create a network of people in our community, but also in our workplace that help us to grow. And of course, they escalate. The last part of nurses move system is the escalate. We really, I don't have yet my client on that phase because moving abroad takes time. And I start my online program in January 2022. So it's not yet 2 years, but nearly there, nearly 2 years. So I don't have people in that phase yet, but I help previously in my coaching 1-on-1. I help them to actually decide what to do to escalate their career. So the last phase is escalate. Actually, after you settle in a new country, you really decide how to progress in your career and your life.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for explaining. So, I guess that in the last few years, you have created a lot of content. As you said, it's not only the Nurses Move channel and so on. And as your vision is in general to help all the nurses to do the right choices when moving abroad, you have created also some free resources. Not
Yeah.
only people come to you and pay for a coaching session or pay for the course. So can you tell us about that and where people can find them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a lot of resources for free, and they're very useful. That people pay for such a kind of resources, but they're free with me. My goals is actually empower nurses. I want them. They recognize they are the professional and they are in need, so they actually have the power to choose which is the best for them. So I really want to empower nurses. I don't want really share, oh, what is the country in trend now, or what is the trend way to move abroad. No, I want to empower them in a proper way. So this is why I created so many free resources. I've got the best country to kids, which is the first things they are created. Is a Excel file, is a Google document, so you can download, you can create a copy and then modify the copy for your need. And the best country toolkit really help you to understand which is the best country for you to move abroad. Of course, in my online program, I've got the extended edition of the best country toolkit, but the free version is good enough to help you to move abroad. And of course, while if you are in my program, you have my help and my guidance in the and feel the best country to keep. But yes, and the free version is very good. If you put your attention on and you feel it properly, you really have an idea what is the best place for you to move. Because country offer different things. So you have to choose which one is the best for you. Okay, the country they offer the highest salary, but for example, America offer an higher salary, but doesn't give you annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave. If you have a chronic condition like I do, and moving to USA for a high salary is not that strategic because yes, you can have a high salary for a period of time, but if your chronic condition become acute, and then you don't really have sick leave to stay home. So if you are a nurse and you have a chronic condition or a physical problem, I don't really recommend. You need to stay even if they give a high salary. On the contrary, for example, I am in UK. UK pay for your training, pay for your sick leave, annual leave. There are 8 weeks on leave paid for you in UK. Maternity leave is no long like other country like Sweden, Norway, or Italy, but it's good enough. And there are lots of opportunity to grow specialty and a lot of way to do nursing privately depending what you want to do of your life, your career. And the best country toolkit help you identify actually. which is the best place for you. Also, I create a questionnaire that help you. This is free too. You There are 40 questions. They're quite a lot, I know, but there's no more than 6 minutes to fill it. And what I think is, if you don't have the time to spend 6 minutes, sit down to answer a question, you're not ready to move abroad, because moving abroad really takes your time and effort. If you don't have the willingness to sit down for answer 40 questions, you're not ready to move abroad. I'm sorry. But yes, if you want to move abroad, you want to put your effort, you want to understand your readiness in moving abroad, this questionnaire is very good for you, because you answer those questions. And at the end, you receive a score. They tell you what you have to improve actually to get ready. And if at the end, if you want some help, I put some video that can help you, some resources that can help you to improve. You can either book a session with me. I can help you with a coaching session. You can be part of my online program. And this resource is for free. It's an app. I pay for that, but it's free for you to use. So there's no any obligation in that. But it's very useful because it helps you to understand where you have to put your attention, what you have to focus in order to get properly ready for moving abroad. And together we create resources like how to fundraise your move. There is a booklet that help you to this. Thank you for your help, Lorenzo. And we put together this page, which is really useful. I've got one of my student client that he's using now. She wants to relocate in Florida. She's already, as I know, she's already received a few donations. So I'm quite proud of
That's
that
good.
too.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Dina, there's one of the things that when we get to know each other and when I was doing everything, all your resources, one thing that I really liked and I was a bit surprised in the beginning is that when people want to talk to you, you do like a form assessment, and in the end, you don't accept everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to
Tell me
explain that.
about it. It's not so common that it's not that you don't. It's not like you refuse, right? It's not about refusing people. It's that you want people that are ready to do this step, isn't it?
Yes. So the assessment is free, and I sit down with people. So the assessment per se is 30, 40 minutes. Okay. People have to answer my question. I'm an international career coach. I study transformational coaching. I am a coach. So my job is to extrapolate from you your need to understand together what you really need to move abroad in a proper way. Okay. In that assessment, I understand your readiness in those certain things. Again, my job is helping nurses to move abroad in a certain way. I have my methodology, which is not for everyone. I do my methodology after following my research, and I help nurses to do their research. At the moment, I'm a clinical trial nurse. I love research, always love research. And research for me is an important tool that help people to leverage a skill, leverage their emotional intelligence, leverage their capability. So you need to do research to improve yourself. I do a lot of research for free. Anyone can use for their needs, for themselves. Okay. But and I do a lot of things again for free. I spend my time. I take time from my family because I really want to empower nurses. My family are very supportive. They understand my role. The kids too. They really understand. They cheer me up. They say, "Don't give up. Continue. Don't worry." But if you understood my path, if you understood where I come from, you really understand that I want to empower nurses. I want a nursing recognize themselves as a professional. If no one give credit to nurses, I want nurses give credit to themselves. I want to set as a sample. I want to be recognized because for 12 years in Italy, I haven't been recognized. I've been sent to do a profession because they think they didn't have the value to do another profession. So I do this for empower nurses. I work only with people that are in line with my vision. I only want to work with people that feel proud of themselves as a nurse, that won't shine as a nurse abroad. And I'm sorry, I don't want to work with people that just want to move abroad because they want a higher salary. I don't have anything against people that move for a salary. I want a high salary too. But if I had to spend my energy and guide people, I want that those people know, take accountability for themselves and recognize me as a guide, not as a service that I have to do everything for them. So my assessment is to understand if the people are ready to work with me or not. So at the moment, I work only with few people because I want to give even more. I want to empower even more.
So I think if people have listened to this, they're realizing that you have a bigger vision, a bigger mission. So what is your ideal future for nurses, and what is it that you're trying to do to make this vision and mission better for them?
My big vision, actually, I create a playlist for that too, which is Nursing Cultural Salon, where I interview leaders, innovators, coaches in the nursing field. My vision is that nurses recognize their identity, is awakening in their consciousness, that they recognize they are professional with a lot of knowledge, not just workers. They need to be taken from one country, put in another country. The nursing need is very high. All the country need nurses, but if you look at the dynamic, each country treat nurses in a different way. But this is regardless their capability in their countries. We are very specialized in Italy. People from abroad recognize us like practitioner. But in our country, we really treat like the people who do IG. That's it. It's not. We are highly specialized in Italy. We have amazing professionals in Italy that are treat like the lowest of the lowest, the lightest of the lightest. I don't know how to say in English, but yes. And the salary actually explain this very easily. So my vision is actually is empower nurses. I want they recognize themselves as a professional. And a little bit for my country, I wanted that Italy recognize the nurses as a very high specialized professional. And then I want Italy stop do this campaign against nurses. But Italy is not the only one. Nigeria do the same. India do the same. India have this kind of society hierarchy where actually doctor don't even know the name of the nurses they work in. I know this is so big for a little nurses like me, but I have this vision and I won't give up. I want that nurses be recognized for their value.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, and it's amazing. Really like that. I think I'm gonna ask the last two questions, and I'm gonna take little bit of detour, and I'm gonna ask you. You have one of your most recent YouTube videos is about what are the ways that people can move abroad. So, what are the three pathways that you have talked about? I think it's interesting for people to know about that.
Oh, absolutely. You can. I reassume very quickly here, but you can go and check the video. We can put the link in the description below. Identify three paths actually to move abroad as a nurse, regardless the country. Of course, each country have their different visa process, different way you do things. Okay. But say that we have a nurses move system that helps you to do research, plan, move everything. You actually have three ways that you can use to moving abroad, and you choose the best one that fits your need in moving abroad, your urgency in moving abroad, and your career aspiration. Before talking about these three parts, I actually want to tell you about dream country and bridging country and nursing trade. Nursing trade is basically a trade between country and nursing boards where one country recognizes the registration of another country. For example, if you are registered in UK, you can register in Ireland without do any extra exam. The registration is straightforward and vice versa. The same thing apply for Australia and New Zealand. You can register in New Zealand, which for example for UK and Ireland is very easy. Singapore is very easy. You register New Zealand and you can straight away register to Australia. And vice versa. If you have registration in Australia, you can register in New Zealand. The same apply between USA and Canada, for example. The same apply from certain country in Europe with UK. For example, Italian degree is recognized in UK, and you just need to do the language test, but you don't need to explain anything else. You don't need to do any extra exam if you want to work as a nurse in UK. Yes, with Brexit now you need a visa, but if you find a job, of course you do, because nurses are very needed in UK. You just generally find a job and you have your visa. If you don't want to deal with the visa, you go to Ireland, for example. So understanding the nursing trade is very easy because you actually can jump from one country to another without stress so much. Because if you are able to gain your licensing in a easy way in a certain country, you can actually move from the country to another country, and you can theoretically work around the globe with no much stress. Okay, if you're young, your inspiration is to discover the world. Using nursing trade is really easy way to do it because you follow a specific path. So you understand nursing trading, but of course you have a dream country and what I call bridging country. A bridging country basically is a country where you can move easy as a registered nurse because there is a nursing trade in between the two countries, your origin country and your bridging country. But it's also that country that help you leverage your skill, and they help you with the salary, but help you with the training, help you with your skills, and then make you ready actually to move to your dream country. For example, UK could be both a bridging country and a dream country because UK offer a lot of training and career and a lot of benefit. But if you, for example, want to move to New Zealand or to Australia, or you want to move to USA, you can move to, for example, from here, Europe, from Italy, we say. You can move to UK first, leverage your skills, and then maybe take your time to pass another exam and move to USA or New Zealand, for example. Instead, for example, if you want to move Australia, could be a little bit more tricky for you if you come from Italy. If you're able to spend 6 months, the only thing you have to do in this case is the English test. Okay? You pass the English test, you go to UK, you start to work in UK, few months in UK, 6 months I think is enough. Well, 4 months is enough. But for me, I'm telling you, 6 months, you gain a little bit of confidence, yeah? Not just a license, but a confidence. With 6 months, you are able to be recognized in New Zealand. And of course, you have to deal with documents and things. Don't get scared. You just need to have so much patience because office, they work in a certain way. So nothing to worry about. Just know that you have to basically follow the step they tell you to do for gain your registration. Besides, take all your documentation and send it to the New Zealand Nursing Board. You don't really have to do exam extra. So take your time, breathe, stay calm, and go ahead with the registration. Once you register in New Zealand, you can decide to work in New Zealand, remain there, or you can actually register straight away to Australia because there is a nursing trade. There's a lot of escamotage you can use. The dream country is the place where you want to live once you recognize actually the best place for you because it's not really. I've got one student who want to move into Canada. She get there for exploration trip. She worked as a au pair for a little bit. She understood that Canada actually was not really the place that she want to be in. My online program actually helped you understand a lot of things. But yes, your dream country is the final place. The bridging country is the country that help you to actually leverage your skills. The nursing trade is the trade between countries that help you actually to move abroad easily. Once you understand those things, the three moves to move abroad are, of course, as a registered nurse, so you have to be licensed before start to work. Work with a lower role or a different role. I always recommend to stay and work in the healthcare system so you get ready for the work as a nurse once you register. You can do nurse helper or you can work in research. We have a recent interview with Dan Spera. He's the guru of the clinical trial. Please go and check out the interview with him. I can link in the description below. You can recognize a certain job you can do abroad, so you are able to move abroad fast if you have urgency moving abroad. You find a job that pay your visa, they help you with your visa, that give you opportunity to grow. Again, I always suggest to work in the healthcare system. And then you are able, in the meantime, you can continue study, work, gain knowledge, get expertise, and become registered nurse. So you actually gain your license after you moved. The last way is as move as a student. Okay, you move from a master degree for a postgraduate placement or internship. You move abroad studying. Depend of the country, depend of the visa, depend of your age, but still the opportunity in a lot of country. So again, the nurses move system help you to identify a lot of things, which is the best country, which is the best place to work, but also help you understand which is the best way for you for moving abroad in a most easy and efficient way that fits more to your needs.
Okay, Dina. So I think we have really gone a lot and quite extensively about what you do. Of course, people can contact you and see for themselves with everything that you do. So where do people can find you? Where would you let them start? I can see there is all the links up and down everywhere in here, but so maybe you can explain more about that.
As I said, I'm not a YouTuber, but I use YouTube to share my content. When I think that content is very important, I do a video. For me, do a video is not easy because English is not my first language. I've got three kids, and so it takes time. I do the editing, so it takes time for me actually create a video. So please give me a little bit of credit. I understand that I really want to do this to help you. So you can go to Nurses Move YouTube channel and see what I'm talking about. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Nurse Dina Paoloni, which is my private LinkedIn profile. And I share a lot of things there. I'm quite active there. I share content which are mine, but also share all the content I think they're very important for the nursing profession and for research because I'm a researcher. You can find me on LinkedIn. We can connect with me. I'm very glad to have you as in my network, of course. You can read me on my blog, nursesmove.blog. Um, Again, I'm quite active there. And I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, you can find on there. I'm not really a social media person, but I understand that to share knowledge, I need to use social media because I find people on social media and people can find me. But the best way is actually book an assessment with me so we can actually talk, understand the needs, understand goals, and we can plan things together. I'm more than happy to do this assessment with you. And without any obligation, we do the assessment, we talk together. If we are good fit each other, of course we're gonna work together. If not, it's fine. We have a chat, we know each other. I'm always happy to talk with people, especially about nursing. So yes, and there are links in the description, of course.
So you're gonna leave all your free resources as well in there, and so people can find anything they want and maybe take the next step for actually moving abroad successfully, strategically. And what is
Safely,
your slogan?
safely. Move
Safe.
abroad safely, strategically to be successful abroad.
That's great. So thank you so much, Dina. It was such a pleasure and such a nice talk, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for your help in this interview, Lorenzo. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone. Bye.